Greetings, this is your host, Jeff Mackey, and on our first episode of the audio-only series Cult Legends, I interview a beloved icon of various indie films and a member of a legendary Hollywood family, the one and only JOE ESTEVEZ, renowned for his narration in Apocalypse Now and appearances on Trauma, campy film releases, and on Mystery Science Theater 3000. The talented man has recently appeared in the successful festival release Doonby and horror flick Rugaru. His biography book, Wiping Off the Sheen, is readily available and also viewable on the Kindle and iPad. First of all, glad to have you on the show, Joe.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for inviting me and looking forward to chatting with you.
Thanks. I'm glad we all made it.
Yeah, finally. Yeah. So yeah, whatever you'd like to talk. You know, I think, and not to be bragging, but I think one of the most, I think that the film that got me into being any sort of cult figure, I guess, is Soultaker that we did back in 1989, or it came out in 1989.
Yeah, it was done in the 80s, and then it surfaced.
Yeah, and that kind of put me on the map as far as scary films go, you know? Yeah. Okay, so all right.
I'll be asking about it. No worry.
Okay. All right. I'm ready to answer any question that you have, whether it's the truth or not. Well, we'll see.
Well, okay. if it's not sourced and not proven in your book, it will not be asked.
Yeah. There you go. Well, listen. You know, my job in this life is to be a storyteller. So and I never let a good story stand in the way of the truth.
That's what we all aim for. Because
if
you don't tell the story, then what are you trying to accomplish besides just
Wasted people's time. Right, yeah. So how many questions do you have, Jeff?
Hopefully at least 8. Is that good?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready for you.
All right. In recent years, you have helped promote the Next Actor Studio in Houston, Texas, and it appears to have really taken off. Can you tell us a little more about that?
What did I help promote?
The Next Actor Studio.
Oh yeah, I worked with some kids down there, and I have a friend who runs that studio. I think we're talking about Will Wallace, and we've been friends for a long time. We met way back on a movie I did called. I did it with my wife, Connie. What was that movie we did with Will Wallace? What was that? Deathbed, yeah. That I don't know if you know, but my wife is quite a star in her own right. You know, she's quite an actress and a writer and a poet and everything else. But anyway, this is all about me. So yeah, but I also work with a company where I was just working at up in San Jose with a school up there.
Gotcha.
And because I think it's important for young people to learn the realities of show business and learn the art of it, and at the same time learn the business of it. There's a lot of kids that know the art but haven't a clue about the business. And just
really welcoming them in there, because you did a promo that's on YouTube, and it's pretty neat.
Oh, really? Okay. See, it's the same reason why. Jeff, we're not doing this on Skype because I very seldom, if ever, go on YouTube unless somebody sends me something specifically.
Oh, this is on Skype.
Oh, it's on Skype. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
It can connect to the
just
phone.
The voice, though, right? Unless you got a little camera hidden in my place here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's free. It's even better.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. But I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, that's great. And for those of you wondering who Will Wallace is, check out the book again. That everything's there. Everything that you could possibly need to know that we're not covering today, it's all in there. Wiping off the sheet.
Who is Will Wallace's stepfather, Connie? Terrence Malick is his stepfather.
Nice.
And, and he's done a number of Terrence Malick films. But I'll tell you something. Terrence Malick never gave that kid anything. He earned everything he's got, and he's hard-working, very talented young man. So Will is a good, trusted, and loyal friend of mine.
Man, I'm going to have to check it out then.
All right, okay.
It's funny how, again, how we all get associated by one name, and the next thing you know, it's like, whoa, you're related to him? I got to check you out.
Yeah. And I tell you, what you don't realize when you come to town, because there's got to be at least, and this is no exaggeration, there's got to be 200,000 actors in Hollywood, or people that think they're actors.
Yeah.
But even with that, it's a very small town. It's a very small town. The people that get things done, so when you do some good work, people see it, and when you do bad work, people see it. Unfortunately. So,
yeah. And then you guffaw it off and say, "Hey, yeah, I did that. So what?"
yeah, you gotta live. You gotta live by it. You gotta live by it. Yeah. All righty.
You mentioned in your novel that icons such as yourself, James Dien, and Marlon Brando might have possibly been the same beloved on-screen legends no matter what their backgrounds were. Can you think of anyone else you would have worked with that the statement also applies to?
I tell you, and I think I was referring there to these guys that went to acting schools, and I think that acting schools per se are the biggest ripoff in Hollywood or any place, and that they're just pariahs that steal actors' money. Now, I'm not talking about schools that literally teach you something, that you can learn stage movement, diction, very important stage combat, how to speak, the basic rules of how to conduct yourself on stage, never turn your back on the audience, so to speak. Of course, you can learn all that, but nobody in the world, nobody can teach you how to act. Yeah. Either you can act or you can't. It's like, if I wanted to be a great artist, I'm sorry, I'm talking about painting. No way, because I don't have the talent. You can't teach talent. If you got it, you can teach how to hone it.
Yeah.
But you can't teach talent. So anyway, so I think James Dien and Marlon Brando, these guys are great actors. It didn't matter, acting skills. They didn't help these guys. They probably hurt them a little bit, maybe gave them a little too much method. But I'll tell you something. I worked with some big names, and I worked with some people that had no names. But every time I get on the set, I try to bring my A game, and I do the best that I possibly can. I say a little prayer every day before I shoot, and I say, "Please, dear God, let me be the absolute best that I can be with your grace." And I thank God, and I thank Jesus Christ, and make the sign of the cross and go out and do the best I can. And I tell you, while we're talking about acting, and I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
No, it's fine.
But the greatest talent, or the greatest thing for an actor to do, is to listen. And it might sound easy, but it's not.
No.
Because we as actors, we always got, as soon as he stops talking, I'll start talking, And we're not actually listening to what that other actor is saying, and more importantly, how he's saying it, and to react to that, instead of some pre-designed way that we want to deliver this line. How you deliver your line depends entirely on how the other actor delivers his.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway,
sorry
to go off on that.
You cite clearly in the book that the filmmakers are only as good as their actors, and that's pretty true.
Yeah.
You see Clint Eastwood, he casted his former, girlfriend Sandra Loke in many of his movies, and many people weren't impressed, but he loved it, so he was in charge of the whole thing. So.
Yeah, and you got the one who's got the money makes the rules. But I'll tell you something: if you got a good editor, unlike stage, if you got a good editor in film, they can take care of a lot of sins.
Yeah.
I've seen some mediocre actors look pretty terrific due to a pretty good actor. I think that due to a pretty good editor. I think that editing is the most unsung, greatest talent to have in this business.
Totally agree.
I think it's oftentimes more important than the director. You know, because I mean, you know how because they actually manipulate that story. They take it from raw footage, and you know they can make it a disaster. They can make. I've seen movies that didn't deserve to be as good as they are.
Yeah.
Because of the editor, and I've seen movies that are terrific that were ruined by an editor. So, you know.
And that's why everyone varies on so many of today's actors and directors is like, because it was edited differently. You know?
Exactly.
They didn't have the same stage crew.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that thing that Orson Welles did in Mexico. With
Touching Evil?
Yeah. And look at the difference in that from the editing, you know. So what a big difference that makes, you know. That finally they made a version that was edited from Orson Welles' notes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, this is why everyone reacts differently, you know, to Star Wars, because Mr. Lucas, he kind of lets his ego shine, so he's got 3 different cuts of the whole movie, and it's like. That's why everyone reacts to it differently. They're like, why'd you add that scene? It was good. Leave it.
Yeah. There used to be a rule in Hollywood that, you know, when you signed off on that movie, you know, when you were finished with it, you were finished with it, you know. But now we have the director's cuts and and then the director's perspective, and and then it all gets, but. Anyway.
Oh, hell, I'm not even thinking of editing this. This is all uncut.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
Leave it the way it is.
Yeah. What else we got?
All right, now, going on towards the recent theatrical plays that you've written. They're one-act plays. One of them is known as Hobos, another titled Pizza Man.
Yeah.
You have read these very well-received, some might even say beloved, in California, and are they appreciated in the theater community?
Yeah, very much so. My friend Ed Asner and I, as a matter of fact, that call that I had to put you on hold there for a moment was with Ed Asner's business manager, who is also his daughter Liza.
Oh.
And I was calling her to. We're shooting Pizza Man up in San Francisco. Gotcha. And I just had to call and push it to July because I needed 3 days to do it, and they had a schedule for 2 days. And so, yeah, they've gotten very well received, and I'm looking forward to do them on film. Look, you don't make a dime doing a short, and these are, going to be shorts because they were written as one act. But I think that this, with my friend Ed on board, and I think they're going to play well, and hopefully we'll get in the Sundance and maybe get a little recognition out of it,
Totally.
And that's all I'm looking for. I'm not, I'm not known in this town as a writer, and it'd be nice to
get that on your resume.
Get something that I've written critically acclaimed. That's my ego speaking, but that's also the truth.
Hey,
yeah.
You are what you are.
There you go.
Of these two plays, which would you say is like your personal favorite, or do they complement each other?
I think they are both parts of who I am, and I think every writer, they might not think so, but everything that they write comes from a part of who they are, and both of these, and I write kind of stuff that is out of bounds with characters, extreme characters, so that they can speak things that a normal person couldn't say, because my characters are out of bounds of society, and so they comment on society,
I love that.
And so they speak objectively instead of subjectively, and that's the land where I like to write. So, and I'm not. I tell you, I'd love to stay employed as an actor, and when I write, it's only because I get antsy and I got to do something creative, you know. So, I've been staying pretty busy as an actor lately, so, consequently, I haven't been writing that much.
Good. Are any of you were mentioning San Francisco? Are any of these two one-act plays being currently performed anywhere else, or is it all?
I'm holding on, and when I say San Francisco, I mean that's for the shooting. I could get it. I could get them. Literally, there's got to be easily 500 small theaters in Hollywood, and what I mean by small theaters are 99-seat equity waiver theaters. An equity waiver, I'm sure you know, is, but maybe for your folks that don't and are listening, are theaters with 99 seats or less that an equity actor can work on that stage without being paid. I think they have to be paid $5 a week or something.
Yeah.
But so that's why there's a plethora of these small theaters around Hollywood, and I could get them playing in a heartbeat. But I want to hold off and see if I can maybe get a little interest off Broadway and to get into I want to get them into an equity house, and I think that as they're working with me and getting them out there, I think that would help. With this town. With other businesses, I'm sure, but mostly, especially with show business, you sell the sizzle,
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to sell the sizzle with this,
That's great.
Yeah.
You've given a lot of great advice to rising stars throughout your career. Have you worked with anyone in the theater who also experienced a high level of success in the movie industry?
I just finished. And my wife produces a show called All Things Catholic, and I I'm the host of it. My wife produces it, and we just did a interview with Dan Roebuck, and I don't know if you know who Dan Roebuck is, but
I think I do. But
yeah, River's Edge. Oh man, he's a star. Dan Roebuck is a star.
Yeah. Yeah,
and he's also a Catholic, so we had an in-depth interview with Dan and just how he made it in show business. And if I may put a plug in for my All Things Catholic, which plays on Net TV, and it'll probably start airing around Thanksgiving. We got four episodes shot, and we want to get about 7 or 8 in the can. But if I can do a shout-out, you can see it on Warner Cable Channel 97. You can see it Cablevision Channel 30 or www.netnewyork.net. And it's called All Things Catholic on Net TV. So anyway, I'm really I'm very proud of that. I think that
that is good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's something that I do from my heart, and my wife does from her heart, and we're very proud of that.
You guys heard the man, so if you're tired of what's currently on regular news or PBS, give a shout out to Net TV.
Yeah, and All Things Catholic. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Right. Here's a question about something you mentioned in your book. You have 7 other brothers and 1 sister, some of who have been theater performers. Have any of them considered a movie or TV career?
Well, I got the one brother, of course,
Yeah.
Who is a legitimate movie star, Martin. You know that, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Everyone loves it.
But, I actually had 8 brothers and 1 sister. There was 10 of us in the family, and a couple of them passed away. I had a sister, Dolores, that passed away after only 2 years. She was actually the firstborn, but I digress. But anyway, I got a brother, John, that I believe is as good as any of us, and he stayed in Dayton, and he ran the PBS station there. And,
oh, nice.
Yeah, and does the pledge breaks and all that kind of stuff. And
good.
He's funny man, very dramatic actor too, and just an all-around talent. But he chose to stay there and raise his family there, and he does opera and
nice.
Does theater plays and such, and is enjoying himself. It just you know, it's kind of like A Wonderful Life, you know, and Jimmy Stewart stays at home. You know, my brother John is kind of like the Jimmy Stewart character, you know.
Oh, wow.
And he's a lovely man. He's far and away my closest brother. We two grew up together. So I love him. Well, I love them all, but I love him very much. And he's you know, had a great life, and I'm very proud of him. My sister Carmen had a cooking show for a while, and you know, and she's a writer. But you know, a number of my brothers and my sister Carmen also are teachers, and I think teachers are very, very much like actors. You know, they're up there performing every day. I mean,
you gotta.
I mean, you know, you have to keep the class attention hour after hour. That takes some great skills as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, my I think I wrote in the book about my Uncle Michael Phelan, charter member of the theater there in Ireland, and I think that's where we kind of get our acting chops from, you know.
That's good. So Phelan and Stewart, I don't think you can ever find anything bad about those two. You know, they're both inspirational in their own right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But gosh, I've been babbling so much I forgot the question.
Family. No, I was just asking about if any other family members got into the industry. Cause, I look at any of you guys on screen, and I'm blessed that, you know, you guys bring it.
God bless you. Thank you for that.
People can debate over which family member is better, but who gives a shit? You know, it's acting.
Yeah.
You bring.
Well, here I can bring my wife in. She'll give her opinion. Yeah.
Never liked him.
Yeah, and let me tell you something about acting and people's opinions.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're Laurence Olivier, and I think Laurence Olivier was an incredible actor. I don't care what he did. But there's people out there that probably don't like him, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's funny. I mean, it's funny. One size does not fit all with actors. I mean, you got somebody that's terrific, and, you know, I mean, somebody, they always just don't sit right with them, you know? So, you know, I take comfort in that when somebody doesn't like me, which are very few, you know. But you know, you can't please all of the people.
It's funny how you brought that up. I don't think there's anyone who hates what's his face, Peter O'Toole or Katharine Hepburn. Hell, if I had to talk mainstream leading men and ladies, I don't think there's anyone who hates Laura Linney or Kevin Spacey. If they do,
but you think Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, okay, here I am, and am I, you know, but I'll leave it. I won't go there. But I'll just say that, you know, there's
there might be someone in this generation.
If you're talking about a lion in winter, you know, you know, she didn't knock my socks off. Okay, you know.
No, I got you.
Never mind. I don't want. Okay, I'll say this. Oftentimes, you know, I see somebody that I know, and I can see them acting.
Gotcha.
And the rest of the world can't.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody that's worked with me a lot can see me acting, and nobody else can. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, we're acting.
Yeah.
We're pretending.
Well, and
it's not real.
That's what I really love about your book, because
we're like little kids playing games, you know? That's all it is. Very innocent fun, pretending.
Yeah.
And people make it, this big. You know, it's an art, but personally I think it's the lesser of all the arts, you know? But it's fun. I love it. I enjoy it, and I'm going to keep doing it till I die.
And you detail how there's the difference between that and personalities, you know? Kicking in, and sometimes it's a mix of both. You're bringing your persona, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandmother.
I mean, you look at John Wayne, you know.
Yeah.
In every movie John Wayne is in, he's John Wayne.
Yeah.
And that's fine because we love John Wayne, you know. Yeah. He's the man's man, and by God, I wish I'd have had the opportunity to work with him.
Hell, my mentor who passed away last year, who was my grandmother, Mary Kuhn.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, that's fine. she would never see anything with Jack Nicholson, and so I never got to show her, A Few Good Men. It's like, hey.
Oh, really?
He plays Jack in every movie. Yeah, she just didn't care for his personality. I'm like, he's playing the persona that everyone loves,
Yeah. And I think, Jack Nicholson, incredible, mesmerizing actor. When I see a great performance, I put myself in that actor's shoes, and I try to think, what would I have done with that performance?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I think Jack Nicholson, man, you better, I would say that guy, he's got the gift,
Yeah. There's no telling what anyone else could do, but hey.
Yeah.
Even if it's an overrated performance or a underrated or just mixed.
Well, I tell you something. When a critics, when you got a legend, critics are afraid to beat up on them,
Yes, they are.
and you got some unknown actor who's doing an incredible job, and the critics just let loose on him, So I mean, critics they just have an opinion, and a lot of times, unfortunately, that opinion is bought and paid for,
Yep.
So I don't, Sometimes, though, it doesn't take a critic to say somebody's bad. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It stick up the joint,
And every good actor is going to give a bad performance one way or the other. That might be the one that gets them on the map.
Yeah, and what I like to relate it to is a pitcher. A professional pitcher, and sometimes you get out there on that mound, and your curveball's not breaking, your slider's not dropping. There's nothing on your fastball, but still you use what you've learned through the years, to try to get through that game. Same thing with an actor. I mean, sometimes you can't put a sentence together but you get through it, and sometimes you just misinterpret a total scene, and
totally.
It's like, damn, man, I was off base on that, But, I mean, that's life. You just, it was literally just not your day that day.
Totally. In almost every interview I've seen you do, you mention how you've learned to be comfortable with yourself and determine your own form of acting, like we discussed. Are there any suggestions you would offer to rising stars on how to deal with the biggest barriers, like watching yourself in the final cut of the movie or trying to avoid typecasting, that type of thing?
Well, let me say this. I mean, I've done 200 and some movies, and I've probably seen a tenth of them.
Yeah.
I don't watch myself unless I have to. Like I have to go to the.
You're a comedian or.
Yeah. I mean, if I have to watch myself, I watch it, but normally I don't watch what I do. But I think it's what Cagney said, and I think I said in the book. You plant your feet, you look them in the eye, you tell the truth.
Yep.
Now that's it's simple. Sometimes it's not that easy.
Yep.
Planting your feet is saying you're bounced. You don't talk off bounce. You bounce yourself, Mm-hmm. You look them in the eye. They look you in the eye. You have that personal contact. And then you speak from your heart.
Totally.
It's as simple as that. Oftentimes simple is not easy, but it's as simple as that. And I think if an actor keeps it to that basic. I am narrating a book right now. And I get myself worked up into a lather, and I have to remind myself, calm down. Don't say the word until you come to it, because as you're reading, you're always reading a line ahead and such, And I'm saying, read the sentence. Give due diligence to the sentence you're reading. And I'm speaking to myself. Give due diligence to the sentence I'm reading before I move on to the next sentence. And I'm human, and I got dancing in my mind.
Yeah.
I got 200 pages to do. I got to finish this book by the end of the week. But, there's an old adage, too, that slow is fast.
Yep.
Fast is slow. So when you try to speed up, you're just going to have to do it again. So just relax. Be yourself, because nobody can play you as good as yourself. Nobody. And if you're out there trying to do Jack Nicholson, I don't give a shit. I don't give a care what you do. You're not going to do it as good as Big Jack.
No,
you know?
Of course not.
So you got to be yourself. I tell actors, never ever listen when somebody else is giving an audition for the same part that you're listening to. I'd say when you go into an audition room, be casual and confident, and give the appearance of you guys got a problem, and I'm here, and now your problem is solved because I'm the guy that's going to take care of this character for you. Yeah. Worry about other things. Don't worry about this character because I got your back. Yeah,
that's great. Another excellent analysis you made in your book references the unfair but inevitable comparisons that occur between siblings in Hollywood and how you worked with the Stallones, the Mitchums, the Quinns, Travoltas, as well as Michael Madsen and Don Swayze. All amazing experiences for you. And for for the rightful fans. There's many people who love those guys. Yeah. Is there any chance you'd like to work with members of other famous families like the Roberts, the Dillons, Cusacks, Carradines, Bowens, maybe even Baldwins and Sutherlands? I don't know.
I'd love to. I'd love to. You bet. I mean, I'll tell you something. Working with good actors makes good actors better. Yeah. And that's an old adage too, but it's true. But I'd like, look, here's I feel, and I'm awed by a lot of actors, I've seen them over the years, and when I get the opportunity to work with them, Jack Palance comes to mind, I'm just
who?
Jack Palance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
You worked with him, actually.
Say again?
Yeah, you worked with him in one of your first movies.
Yeah, he played my dad. But I'll tell you, when we're on that set, we are all created equal, man. Yeah. There's no stars there. We're just actors trying to make a scene happen, Mm-hmm. And we're trying to help each other because the only way that we're going to shine is if that other person shines, Yeah. So as in awe as I am of any actor, when that bell rings, we're all in this together. I'll tell you, and I think I said this in the book, and now, he's coming back on top. I think that, Michael, Jesus, his name just escaped me. No, not Michael Madsen, but from Pretty Boy Floyd. Okay, I'll think of it. Michael Parks.
Parks, who has a son, Michael James Parks, as well, who's also pretty
James Parks. I don't know no James Parks. Is that his son?
Yeah, he's also appeared in a few bad horror movies, but they were both together in that overrated Grindhouse movie by Tarantino. So
Right. Michael Parks, in my mind, is one of the greatest actors alive today.
Yeah.
This man is he's real. He's just there. And I tell you, if I would love to have the opportunity to work with Big Mike again and tell him what I thought of him and how much I admire him. He's a good man, good man, and a terrific, underrated actor.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, all right.
You were once a star of many Action International picture titles. It was basically the PM Entertainment and New Image Millennium Films home video market of the 80s and early 90s. Are you a contracted star for any current production company at the moment?
Well, I'm contracted to do all things Catholic with Net TV, and I'm contracted up in San Francisco to work with these people up there, promoting them. And I'm contracted. I host a thing called the Faith Film Festival, which I host. I'm contracted there, and I have individual contracts that I have to fulfill for certain things that are coming up. I'm doing an interesting thing on what's that Eagle thing, Connie? What's that Eagle Network thing? Eagle Heart on the Cartoon Channel. Have you ever heard of that?
I have. There's been lots of people.
All right, yeah. Okay, so they contacted me. They're writing a script for me now and I'm playing myself, kind of a
great
camp version of myself. I don't know if you saw that thing I did called The Perfect Candidate, where I also play myself and Bobby Z.
Yeah, you have a Bobby Z refers to Robert Zadar, best known to everyone here for Tango and Cash and the Maniac Cop trilogy.
That's the man, yeah.
And
very good.
The Perfect Candidate is currently available everywhere on the net. It's a wacky, brief.
Yeah, and if you can say it, it's fun. It's fun. Just enjoy it and just turn it on and enjoy it because it's fun. You know. I'm out there with another webisode thing that I mean it's like, as an actor you want to keep yourself busy, and I've been blessed by God to have a whole career being busy. Even at this age, I'm as busy as I've ever been. So that I'm blessed. So I got work well into the future. Thank God.
Yeah. One movie that I might argue is your best movie of recent memory is 2010's Corruption.Gov.
Dear God. Oh, with Madsen.
Yeah, I know Madsen didn't find himself believable.
Michael's a great actor. He's a great actor. I don't think that's his best work, but he's a great actor. But I've never, like I say, most movies I haven't seen, and that's one of them. But, if I may just do the bragging thing, there's a movie that's coming out in June on the Sci-Fi Channel, and the original title was Bunyan, but now it's the raft of the Axeman, Paul Bunyan, or something like that. But
not sure that was a good title change, but hey, we'll see.
It's like they do it because they're selling the sizzle, so that's. But I tell you, and I play an old, excuse my term, ass-picking mountain man, and I looked at that and I said, because we had to go to the screening, and I said I'm pleased with that performance. I'll take it. It's some things in my mind.
That's what it pretty much is sometimes. If I look good, that's kind of how I care,
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to do certain, nuances and such that, people don't even know you're doing them, but I know, and I feel good when I'm. It's like playing a difficult musical score for a pianist, and sometimes he might miss a few notes, but nobody noticed, But he damn sure notices, It's the same way with acting, and we may miss a few notes. Nobody's going to notice. But when we look back on it and we see that we hit every note that we wanted to hit, then we're satisfied. And oftentimes we look back at a part that we did and we think, oh my God, there's so many more notes, so many more levels, so many things that I could have brought to that. But then, we can bring it to our work now because we're older and wiser and, we matured into better actors,
All right. That's awesome, man. Are there... Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry. Are there any TV shows you always wished you could have made a guest appearance on? And if not that, are there any popular books, shows that you find inspiring or hold dear?
There's two TV shows that I wish I had a guest star on. West Wing and Two and a Half Men.
It would have been perfect.
Some things are out of my control, and for the people who did have the control and didn't put me on that, well, shame on them. But anyway, I'll just leave that right there. But what was the second half of that question?
Oh, it was books you find inspiring as well. Like, it's a bestseller for a reason because it's a work of literature,
Yeah, I'd like to keep positive thinking in any books that I read that can that I get a positive vibe out of, and that keeps my spirits up, and I'm right behind that. You know, I like I don't watch the Jesus Channel, but I love Joel Osteen. You know,
yeah,
I think he's terrific. I find some of these guys are terrific, and I watch them because they lift my spirits. Jesse Toplanka, I think he's a great preacher, man. I love him. I think he's inspiring. I don't send him any money, but I love what he says. Joel Osteen, I love what he says. There's a lot of people that write from the heart. I love the Dalai Lama, Tibet. I love people. I love reading of people of absolute courage. That's something that I aspire to. I aspire in my life to be courageous, to not be fearful.
That's great.
To be with love always, and that's something I don't think that any human being ever masters completely. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't be on that track, trying to get there. Because love is it, man. That's really all there is, and that's what we need to aspire to. Acting like anything, it's just a vehicle. It's just a vehicle. It's just a vehicle to fulfill myself as a human being. It just puts me in places where I can do the work that I should be doing in this life. So it's whatever anybody's vehicle is, that's almost secondary to the real work that you should be about in this life.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Back in 2011, another cult legend, Bruce Campbell, announced that he was thinking of doing a movie tribute similar to Sylvester Stallone's The Expendables, except instead of focusing on the men on a mission genre, it was going to be a tribute to the beloved horror genre with many big names attached. As a veteran of this genre, would you be interested in participating in this production?
I tell you, if Bruce called me, I'd be there in a heartbeat. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I tell you, I've stopped doing blood and gore stuff. I mean, I was shooting a movie, and I was getting my head pounded into some steps. And she said, "Okay, then let's cut because we got to put more blood on you." Yeah. I just said to myself, "That's it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm done with this." And that's it. I've had a little blood on me since then, but I don't want to do the blood splattering and things. I got a movie out there that's coming out that I think is pretty damn good. It's called High on the Hog, and
it's got Sid Haig from House of a Thousand Corpses in it. Yeah. And my character is a very dark, mean character that has some deep psychological
deep rivers running in it.
Gotcha.
And this movie was supposed to be light, and we had a different director and a different production team, and said, just go with where you want to on this. And I went down a really dark path and created a character that is multi-leveled, but somebody I'm very proud of. I wouldn't want to live with this guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd like to go back and live with that old ass picker up there on the Bunyan movie for a while. I wouldn't like to do a series with this guy, but it's something I said, whoa,
Yeah.
And I was proud of myself that I was able to give full service to this character.
Yeah.
So High on the Hog, when it comes out, I think it's worth $1 or whatever you do to rent it. I don't know.
I'd be sure to check it out if it's at Redbox.
Yeah. You're too young, Jeffrey, to remember. Well, I don't know. Maybe where you're at, they haven't. But it's back in the day. It would have been an absolute perfect drive-in movie. For the drive-in theaters. That you sit there, put a speaker on your window, and sit in the car and watch a movie. But them days are gone. Anyway, let's move on.
All right. So you're not going to be in the movie with Jason, Freddy, Ash, the Wishmaster, or Candyman. It's all going to be...
Well, they didn't call me, so...
I got you.
Like
but
hey,
I'll
still take that call.
Hey, the Soultaker could take him on. I guarantee you.
That's right, my God. Yeah.
Speaking about Soultaker, you share so much rewarding info in your book about what went into prepping it, your best-known film to date, and the result of it being on the sitcom show every comedy fan ought to adore, Mystery Science Theater. But I would like to share with you, Joe, that while Sci-Fi Channel would always cut those movies in advance before they treated it like a poor man's clone of Flatliners and Dead Again, I believe it's still one of the far more watchable movies they showed on the show because, it was just a decent premise. It just was outdated by the time they,
Yeah. And it was outdated because, listen, I was going to say it was an unwritten rule, but it's a rule in Hollywood if you're gonna do a horror film. Somebody has to get killed right off, and then somebody has to get killed within the next 6 or 7 pages, and thereafter in order to bring your audience in. And this Soultaker, for what it was a psychological drama. I mean, it was. This Soultaker was a scary character. I mean, it's wow.
The soundtrack's kind of similar to one of those 80s horror flicks, kind of like Halloween and the Terminator, except, I don't even know why it's rated R. I don't either. I think she showed a boob there someplace, But we got a review. I think that they said it was better than Ghost, Yeah.
Which was a big movie at the time, But no, it did really well.
At the festivals.
And they did chop the hell out of it. But if you notice, they let me alone, and they didn't say anything derogatory about me at all. And
they were scared shitless by you. They were just like, whoa.
And they gave me there you go, yeah. But they gave me a couple of nice compliments, too, which, I really appreciate.
But it's also, like, one of the most seen episodes of the show, because, like, they use why everyone loves that show is because it's just as low budget as the movies they parody.
Yeah.
And they used your premise, like, to bring back 2 characters who had since left the show, and they reunited them using the Soultaker premise, and it worked. I mean, for the comedy. And if you haven't checked out them or Riff Tracks, I highly recommend it because it's one of those shows that's everlasting. Because it's both a puppet show and just it's fun just seeing all the cool movie trivia they learned about the movies.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out. Jeffrey, it's kind of funny. It seems like a lot more people know me now than they did 10 years ago, and I think it's in thanks to the internet and all the great avenues that the internet can take. And so I'm working more than ever today, and I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why.
Yeah. Well, hell, have you ever heard of Monos, The Hands of Fate?
It's
like the best bad movie ever. But like Soultaker, it became renowned by being on that show, and the creators loved it because they actually met fans who were not only fans of the show, but of the movies themselves. And so the movies are appreciated even more, because, I mean, they had everything from Rocket Man, type stuff back in the 40s to cult stuff. Like, your pal who you used to work with, Joe Don Baker, appeared on there twice, and he's a beloved actor.
Yeah. He's a great guy. God bless him. Yeah.
He's the
I think he's in Texas and retired now, I think.
I wouldn't doubt it. You see him occasionally do something. In fact, I'm surprised you never worked with, bless his family. He passed away, and I miss him dearly, but Ernest Borgnine, I'm surprised you never worked with him.
We came very, very close. There was...
Because was...
Yeah, there was a movie that he and I were attached to called The Last Mission. And, before The Last Mission happened, he breathed his last. But, so I came very, very close, but unfortunately...
but I admire... You got to admire his modus operandi because, he didn't believe in retirement. He's no Sean Connery. He did not, just retire when he had a bad movie experience. He was like, you got to keep working. You got to have fun. You got to just live life and keep doing what you love.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like my friend Ed Asner, He's working now more than he's ever worked.
Everyone loves Ed Asner. A genius.
Keeps him alive. I mean, it really, because, you got to have a purpose or you go to siege, You got to have something to get up for in the morning.
You gotta keep your fan base alive and your image alive and just... And yourself alive. Yes.
Yeah.
That should actually be number one. I apologize.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway, what else we got, Jeffrey?
I think that pretty much concludes it. All I can do is recommend that you're an Ed Wood fan, as I recall in the book.
Yeah, and I'm a big Conrad Brooks fan, who we still talk occasionally. Conrad Brooks is retired and living in Virginia, but still makes some of those celebrity... one of the celebrity signings,
Horror conventions, yeah.
Yeah, so, hey, Joey, how you doing? Hey, Joey, come on, buy a picture. Conrad Brooks, but, his thing was, what they call him, who was that actor of bad movies?
William Shatner. I love him, but...
Oh, William Shatner, I'll tell you, he's terrific. I mean, but anyway, Conrad Brooks, I love him. Good friend. Yeah. And he did every Ed Wood movie that was made, I believe. Yeah. And was in the Ed Wood movie, played the bartender.
Yeah. And hell, didn't Ed Wood do a bit of what Hitchcock did, where he'd be walking in the background, just make a cameo? I can't remember.
In a dress.
Yeah, he would.
And that's something that
I love that. Yeah, I'm starring. You didn't notice me.
Yeah. Well, Ed Wood, he's always look at the big picture. So forget that tombstone that fell over. Look at the big picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was. As a matter of fact, we live right in his old neighborhood and his old stuff. We live right in historical Hollywood, which. My wife and I really love. We love Hollywood.
That's great.
We would be spoiled for any place else.
Well, hell, I hate to go back to Rift Tracks for a minute, but I recommend to you that they have Rift Plan 9 from Outer Space, but they just...
Oh, okay.
I love it because they didn't just, start talking about it. They do the trivia, the movie, and they have remastered it fully. So it's that's even better. So fans of the movie can enjoy it. You can even turn off the commentary if you want, but we're all movie buffs here, and we're all watching this movie. And...
Oh, terrific! Well, you must have heard of the famous Don Jackson.
Yes, yeah. You mentioned him.
All right, yeah. Who what's your favorite Don Jackson movie, Connie? What is that? Roller Gator. My wife can't get enough of it,
Yes,
Roller Gator.
Who are not in the know, Don Jackson is very much like Scott Shaw, where he invented Zen filmmaking, where it was all improvisation, low budget, comedy, horror, action. Yeah,
you will never ever see a script on Don Jackson's desk. No. Just go. Yeah. Do what you're gonna do. Okay, all right. Is this check good? Yeah. All right. Where do I stand? But I love Don. I miss him. I miss him terribly. He was a good friend, and he. I think the best thing was the Don Jackson documentary. Back in Detroit. And,
what's the documentary called? It's
his documentary. My wife, as a matter of fact, saw it. I loved it. Yeah. Demon Lovers, I think it's called.
Demon Lovers. Is it a comedy or low budget?
No, it's just a documentary on
okay, sorry.
On Don.
That's right.
Say, Connie, what is it?
Dope.
I think it's called Demon Lover, and they do a lot of things from his home. He lived with his mother when he was starting out, and there was a lot of footage on that, which was almost as fascinating as his film. Yeah,
back in Detroit. Don and I had a marvelous simpatico because we both grew up as factory workers. We worked on assembly lines and
wow,
and came out here with families we had to support.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love
respect,
that because you
guys
I
respected him for that, and he respected me, and I love Don.
Yeah, but it's neat, even better because you guys learned discipline and you worked your way up.
Yeah.
You weren't a director's bed buddy. You didn't just randomly get discovered on the set. You walked into the audition and said, "Hey, you got to hire me because I'm your man."
Yeah. I wish I were as confident when I first came to town as I am now. But you learn. That's what life's about, learning. So I'm not going to beat myself up about it.
Again, for those who do not find it in their local library and for some reason don't believe in using paper, I don't know why you wouldn't, but the JOE ESTEVEZ's Wiping Off the Sheen is still readily available on the iPad and Kindle. So you got to do it.
Barnes & Noble, I think, carries it. So,
I swear it was there.
Yeah. But thank you for that shout-out. I appreciate that, Jeffrey.
This has been a great accomplishment, just talking with a hardworking person.
All right. God bless you, my friend, and anything else I can do, you get back to me, okay?
All righty. We shall see you.